Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, the war against Hamas affects all of us, but for one North Texas mom, it could not be more personal. Her journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, in the last couple of weeks, we've all seen the heartbreaking images coming out of Israel. But for a North Texas mom, my next guest, Kim Zoller, this is so personal because her kids are involved. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So my kids out of high school went to Israel, and they both did what is considered gap years, where they are going to school or some type of school, just being in a different country. And then they both stayed, and they both said, we need to do our duty to this country that serves us. And we've always been very pro-Zionist, pro-Israel. So one by one, they're 21 months apart, and Benji went first, and he went into the Army, and then Sammy went as well. So Benji's 26, and Sammy is 24.
And we've got a picture that we want to put up on the screen just so you can identify with what Kim is going through. Who are we looking at here?
So on the left is Sammy. He's 24, and he serves in a unit called Sanchanim, which is the paratroopers. And Benji is in the middle. He's 26, and he serves in a unit called Combat Intelligence. And then my daughter-in-law, who's married to Benji, Leah, is on the right, and she was also a soldier.
We have another picture. Yeah, where was that taken?
So this was last week on Friday, before Shabbat started, which is the Sabbath, and they took pictures. And what's interesting about these soldiers, all of them, is that every single one of them, if you look at pictures of them, they are smiling. Now, obviously, why are they smiling? I mean, it's people say they look so. Someone actually sent me a text. They look like they're enjoying it. Well, there's really not much to enjoy, but the spirit of a human being, of who their true essence is, comes out. And one thing about Judaism and about Jews is that the spirit of being alive and how much we treasure life. That is really what it's about, Jeff. It is about every moment in our lives treasuring what we're doing, who we're doing it with, and being so grateful for every single moment.
And you're lucky because a lot of moms cannot communicate with their kids, and you're able to. How are their spirits?
I am. So my kids are amazing, actually. I mean, I know they're my kids, so I think that they're amazing. But their spirits and how they look at life and what I just described is very true. I think that I asked one of my kids, I text them as much as I can, and I am very, very fortunate because I can communicate with them. They are not in areas where they're made to turn off their phones. For a number of reasons, but for tracking and the light and all different reasons why they have to turn off their phones. So I texted my one son and I said, "Hi, how are you today?" And he said, "I'm alive and everything else is bonus."
Wow.
So when you get a text like that, you just realize, yes, that's the truth. And they are doing everything they can to be present, to stay in this moment of where they are, and to not go into, well, what is going to happen, because everyone's waiting to figure out what is going on. And they are also in a place of, let's just stay in this moment and not catastrophize what could be, because they're not exactly sure until it's that moment.
Wow. Before we show this next clip, you spoke at City Hall, and it was a resolution.
I did. So our mayor, who is outstanding, put up a resolution. And the resolution, I don't have it in front of me, but the resolution was to condemn Hamas and to insist that our hostages come back. Now, it's a much bigger resolution. But I did go to City Hall, and I have to tell you, it was frightening. There were many people, rows of people, who are anti-Israel and anti the resolution, and stood up and spoke against the resolution. And what was amazing about our city and every single council member is that they all spoke, and they were so committed to this resolution. And the resolution, it was very specific. It was about condemning Hamas, a terrorist organization, and insisting that our soldiers come back, and not soldiers, but the hostages. And every single one of our council members voted for the resolution. And they spoke eloquently and informed. They were informed. And they all spoke for that resolution and why. It was really outstanding.
I found that clip on your Facebook page. Let's go ahead and roll it.
6 and 24, both born and raised in Dallas, both serving as reserve soldiers in the Israel Defense Forces in the war in Israel. I am also the proud mother-in-law of an incredible young woman, Leah, also a soldier who is married to my older son, Benji. We raised our boys in a home with the value of loving their fellow man, no matter who they were, and what their beliefs were. We raised our boys in a Jewish household, loving Israel. From the time my boys were young, they loved Israel and what it stood for, a Jewish state where every Jew is accepted and all of its inhabitants are respected, where they knew that no matter what, they have a homeland. They grew up with the understanding that loving Israel meant supporting Israel in any capacity. Both of my boys left Dallas and went to Israel after high school. They felt compelled to join the IDF as lone soldiers with no family in Israel. On Saturday, the sirens went off and they were called to their bases. They left their daily lives in Jerusalem to do their duty, what they consider a privilege, to serve and protect their people, their Jewish homeland. Israel defends, it does not attack. The attack by Hamas, a terrorist organization, was not provoked by anything but hate. The atrocities are incomprehensible. Can you imagine your baby ripped from your arms, your brother, sister, mother, father, grandmother, taken, beaten, raped, or your 2-year-old put in a cage while the perpetrators are laughing and justifying these horrendous acts? Don't be mistaken. This is not about land. It's not about liberation. It's about killing Jews. As a Jew, I am asking you to be strong in your resolution to unequivocally condemn Hamas.
Thank you. Naveen.
Kim, you and I were talking before the show. Many have compared this to September 11th. Like this is Israel's September 11th. Is that accurate?
I would say so. You know, the thing is, it happened out of nowhere. Israel and everyone, I mean, if you look at those pictures, those horrendous pictures, were completely shocked. My kids were in Jerusalem. There were sirens. They didn't know what was going on. They went back. Normally they have their phones off. They went back, turned on their phones, and Benji was called to a base. They had no idea what was going on. And the number of murders and the brutality of it is, there are no words, Jeff. It is absolutely horrendous.
Now, you just had a sit down with Senator Cornyn. We're going to put some pictures up. Tell us about that meeting. Did you call the meeting?
So after I spoke at the city council meeting, they asked me to come and meet with him, and he's quite outstanding. He is so pro-Israel, and he is about action. Like all he wants is to make sure that what was said and what Biden said, that they take action. And so he went around and he asked for a couple of us to speak to him. And I have to tell you, he sat there with such intention and so much mindfulness and wanted to know more, and how were we experiencing things and what happened. And there was one woman who spoke as well, who lived on that kibbutz that was attacked. And listening to her story was just heartbreaking. And then he asked about me and my kids, and then he went to the Senate and he spoke and he mentioned all of us, and he is just about supporting Israel all the way.
This has to be all-consuming. Do you watch the news, or do you stay away from the news?
I don't watch the news. Occasionally, I subscribe to everything, all the articles and all the newspapers out of Israel, just generally. So I still get everything. I'll tell you, Jeff, I don't. What you see, you cannot unsee, and what you hear, you cannot unhear. And I do my best not to get caught up in it, because otherwise I don't know how I would function thinking about my children there. So I watch very, very little of it, and I do my best to stay away.
So we're about to show another clip. I want you to also set this up. This is your son thanking the public for helping out.
So everyone, first of all, just going back to your comment before about this surprise attack, these soldiers, there are so many people in need. These soldiers don't have everything that they need. And the equipment that they need is they need more, and they're obviously working on it, but there's so much that they need. And so what this is that people have asked me, who can we donate to? And the organizations are endless. One organization, there are a few that we that I would say 100% that your money is going to soldiers. FIDF, Friends of the IDF, is one of them. And that's FIDF.org. And then the other is people are saying to me, how can we help your kids and their units? And so my daughter-in-law, I think this is really important to actually mention. My daughter-in-law, Leah, was not called up. They basically said to her unit, if you are called up, then you're here. You that's it. And so because Benji is gone and my other son Sammy is gone, she is volunteering and working at getting their units, all these people, what they need, whether it's food, supplies, toothpaste, helmets, bulletproof vests. She is doing absolutely everything. And so she has a Venmo account, and we're just putting money in, and she is going every day and helping these soldiers. And so and this video is really Benji just saying thank you to all of the people we know, and all of the people. I've been doing a few events, and they've been donating, and it's just, my kids are really grateful.
Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Hi, this is Benji Zoller. I'm stationed here on the Shomron. I just want to thank you all for your help with the donations. Please God, we will bring evil to an end very soon and return home. And until then, I'm glad for your help staying safe. I'm Yisrael Chai.
You have to be tremendously proud of your kids.
Yeah, I am so proud of my kids. They chose to join the IDF because Israel has served the Jews, and they knew that it was something that they needed to do in their hearts, in their minds, to be able to give back to a Jewish homeland, and they have.
We're going to put up on the screen the Zelle account, and this is the way that people can donate to your daughter-in-law that will manage the funds and make sure it gets to the right place.
Yes, yes. And thank you so much. And as I said, she and her sister, Sarah, and their friends are working diligently day and night to get the soldiers what they need.
Well, I know everybody in this audience is praying for you and your family. Final thoughts, what would you like to leave people with?
My final thoughts are that I really want people to understand the facts, because there is a lot of misinformation out there, and I believe that we as a world, as a human species, need to understand exactly what's going on. And I believe that this is about love. It's about spreading love and being in love with life. And that it is really what is happening is that there is so much hatred. That the people who are killing, the terrorists who are killing, care more about the killing than they do about their own lives. And Israelis care more about lives and about living than anything else. And I want people to become informed about the reality, not beliefs that they might have heard along the way.
And one way to stay informed is to follow Kim on Facebook. We're going to end with her Facebook page because you're posting regularly. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen. Kim, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.